Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the 4th episode of the Larix collection. Today I'm going to go further into the native plants within the Ojibway Prairie site, which I've been waiting for and just kind of building up the site before I did that. Which I'll do in the next video again with the Point Pelee National Park, which also has some hidden gems I'm excited to cover. I'm just going to get right into it, just break down 2 trees and a few wildflowers. All of these are native and support our ecosystem, so plant away if you have access to these species. So for trees, I'm going to do Quercus alba, the white oak, Prunus serotina, the black cherry, and Asclepias purpurascens, purple milkweed, Monarda, fistulosa, wild bergamot, Ratibida, pinnata, the gray-headed coneflower, and Spiraea tomentosa, the steeplebush. Quercus alba, the white oak. It's another great oak species that I would like to mention, that like I mentioned in the first episode on this site. It is actually an oak savanna, so this is just another part of the community on the site. This species has a round crown with wide spreading branches. The height of this species is 24 to 30 meters or 80 to 100 feet, with a diameter of 0.9 to 1.2 meters or 3 to 4 feet. Leaves are 10 to 23 centimeters long and 5 to 10 centimeters wide, being 5 to 9 lobed. The leaf is tapered at the base and hairless. It is bright green above and being whitish to grayish underneath. The bark is a light gray, having long, broad, scaly plates that are often loose. The habitat of the species is moist, well-drained upland and lowlands, often in pure stands. In this area, I usually see it on the upland of the site. Oak species can never get enough love, though, as they support so much life around them. Usually can be a hub tree in the forest and can control the canopy. What a hub tree does is pretty much spread extra nutrients throughout the roots in the soil below. That is the whole topic on itself, which goes into how trees communicate through soil. We only see the upper half of a tree, so think about it. There's a whole world underneath our feet that we still know little about. Now to Prunus serotina, the black cherry. This species is aromatic with abundant small white flowers. Sadly, I didn't get to see this species in bloom. Apparently, if you crush the foliage and the bark, it has a distinctive cherry-like odor, which I wish I knew at the time of this photo. The height of the species is 24 meters or 80 feet tall, with a diameter of 0.6 meters or 2 feet. The leaves are 5 to 13 centimeters long and 3 to 5 centimeters wide, being sawtooth with curved teeth, being a shiny dark green above and a light green below. The bark is dark gray, smooth, and with horizontal lines, becoming scaly and exposed reddish inner brown bark. This species occurs on many sites except very, very wet or very dry soils. This site is a good balance of both of those. Though it is sandy texture soil, it still has a lot of moisture because of all the leaf litter. This observation occurs pretty close to the stream as well. The species occurs throughout the eastern portion of North America. Species like these are very important for birds and other wildlife as they become a major food source when it is in fruit. Got to give respect to it because it's a strong native in the rose family, Rosaceae. Alright, now we're going to go to Monarda fistulosa, the wild bergamot. This is a really nice species. It is very abundant where I found it, and it is a member of the mint family, Lamiaceae. This species has a cluster of flowers occurring on a square stem with purple to pink tubular flowers. The flowers are 2.5 centimeters long. This flower has 2-lip corolla, and upper lip is 2-lobed and lower lip is 3-lobed, having stamens projecting out of the flower, with brackets occurring underneath the whole cluster. The leaves are about 6.5 centimeters long, lanceolate, and coarsely toothed. The leaves are grayish green and occur opposite on the square stem. The height of this species is 60 to 120 centimeters or 2 to 4 feet long. It blooms from June to September in dry fields, thickets, and borders, which fits this ecosystem very well because the canopy is dappled. Also, Usually very common in limestone regions, which this site is on the Dumby Formation, which is 83% limestone occurring to the rock dap. Super nice plant, brings a lot of pollinators. One thing with this species, you will always see powdery mildew on it. I believe it is because there's like a thin hair on the leaves that if you touch, like when you touch them, it's almost like furry in a way, but kind of not in the same time. But with the high humidity in this area, and water gets trapped in those like little hairs, and it creates a perfect environment for mildew to thrive. Honestly though, it's just cosmetic, and this species still thrives with or without the mildew. Asclepias purpurascens, purple milkweed. This species is very similar in appearance to the common milkweed, Asphondylia sericea, but has a deep purple to pink flower head. This species has a lot of pop to it. It is actually not seen as often as it should. I have only logged it one time in my observations, and it is actually considered imperiled in this specific area, but is critically imperiled in Ontario, vulnerable and rare in other areas. The flower head has 5 petals with hoods over it, like other milkweeds, which honestly, I remember it as an eagle claw when it's about to grab its prey, as you can see here. The leaves are opposite, with fine hairs beneath, and the leaf may be wavy or curly, like waving and curling. Leaves are toothless on the margin and are dark green. It grows 2 to 3 feet tall, flowering from May to July, growing in prairies, lake plain prairies, open woods, and on shores. When describing the habitat, it is said it grows well with oak and oak pine, which fits this area extremely well because there's an oak savanna and is surrounded by them. I gotta look more into the relationship that's going on here, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's connected to a mycelium going on underneath the ground. It's truly crazy, all the relationships that can happen in nature just right in front of your eyes. So now I'm going to go into Ratibida pinnata, the gray-headed coneflower. This species is a member of the aster family, which has a nice flower head with those drooping ray florets. Notice how I didn't say petals, because since it's an aster, it is a composite flower, which means the center is actually made up of a bunch of tiny florets. Altogether, it is called disfloret. This is actually where the petals are on each flower head. The outer ones are ray florets and just pretty much modified bracts. That being said, this is a slender plant with a hairy stem having a flower head with yellow drooping ray florets surrounding a gray disc floret. The rays are 2.5 to 6.5 centimeters long. The central disc is 1 to 2.5 centimeters high, and the leaves are 2.5 centimeters long. They are compound pinnately divided into lanceolate, coarsely toothed segments. The height of this plant is 45 to 150 centimeters, or 1.5 to 5 feet tall. This plant flowers from June to September in dry woods and prairies. It ranges from Ontario to Vermont, south to Florida, west to Louisiana and Oklahoma, and to South Dakota and Minnesota. In Ontario, though, it is a vulnerable species and is also endangered in Pennsylvania, according to iNaturalist. Spiraea tomentosa, Steeplebush. This species is in the rose family, Rosaceae. Though this species does not have a conservation status, it's not endangered. I've only seen it like once or twice, and it was in the middle of this prairie. It is considered an erect shrub with a cluster of pink flowers. The flowers are less than 60 millimeters wide and has both 5 petals and 5 sepals, having numerous stamens and 5 to 8 pistils. The leaves are 2.5 to 5 centimeters long and are toothed on the margin, also very woolly underneath the leaf. The species reaches height of 60 to 120 centimeters, or 2 to 4 feet. It flowers in July to September in old fields and meadows. Though it isn't endangered, I've actually only seen it once that I've noted, and even on iNaturalist, it isn't very abundant. It has 1,000 observations, but it's pretty spread out. I think it is a unique species, and I actually don't see it very often. There isn't abundant research on it. When you see this thing, it just pops. It's super nice, stopping me dead on my bike when I was going past it in the prairie. So that's pretty much that for this episode. I'm going to fire some shots off at the end. The yellow flower is a Coreopsis tripteris. It's a tall Coreopsis, which is critically impaired in Ontario, and is another gem I wanted to describe, just didn't have time to. Also, the yellow flower with the messed up cone is actually Ratibida pinnata, the gray-headed coneflower described earlier, but it has a Gall midge, so it's actually infected with an insect, so check that out. And then I have a mushroom species in the Amanita genus. I know very little about fungus, so feel free to drop a species ID in the comments. But that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. The next episode, we'll be covering another ecosystem breakdown of Point Pelee, so stay tuned till then. Enjoy some beats from my friend Jetskii Jr while I fire back some pictures of you. Have a good one. Peace.